How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figure most journalists would not disclose their sources.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's going to feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing. I think he's going to say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time. My favorite villain? I kind of like Diddy.
There are no misconceptions about
it. In Harlem, and his reaction when those people
went away.
Got in the
car and said, I feel like I need to wash, like I'm dirt. That was, it shows you his character.
Was that the reason for including it?
Yeah, I mean, what's the odds that you would do that in front of the camera? Like that's one of the moments where he forgot he was on tape.
How do you respond to people who say that it's more about the disdain that you have for Sean Combs than it is for giving the victims a platform?
What they consider a pre-existing beef, right? For 20 years.
I ain't never made a call to Diddy. I got Diddy's number, just hit him up. Yo, Diddy, what up? Never happened.
He told me to take me shopping. I looked at him like, what you just said?
This is a tight one. And the winner is Eminem, the Eminem Show.
Wait, he didn't just spell the word rapper and leave out a P, did he? Yep.
I kind of like Diddy.
That is interesting though, because to a lot of people, 50 is the villain, but I look at 50 as more of an anti-hero. As a person who loves comics, he's more of an anti-hero than a villain.
So you have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy. I mean,
but I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated. So,
guys, this is nuts. Sean Diddy Combs was still filming himself a week before he got arrested, months after the feds had already raided and taken all his tapes. And somehow that footage got to 50 Cent, who's now put it in his Netflix documentary.
I was a party favor. What does that mean? I was a party favor. I was somebody you could take off the table. So you're telling me they set children? I set children on a table. Like when you go to a birthday party and they have gift bags for everybody that comes that have candy and toys in them, and they set them on the table. So you're telling me at the freak off parties, they put children on the table instead of gift bags, and then people can do what? Take you off the table and have to, even though it's against the rules to do certain things like their full health. Sometimes that's against the rules. Like for me, that was against the rules, but that didn't matter.
A project many people had been waiting years to see, while others hoped it would never surface, finally arrived in the form of a documentary titled Sean Combs: The Reckoning. Executive produced by Curtis Jackson, better known as 50 Cent, the film compiles decades of stories, interviews, and public records to present a side of Diddy that many viewers had never seen on a major platform. Its release came at a highly sensitive time, as Diddy was already facing intense public scrutiny due to several civil lawsuits and an ongoing federal criminal case. While he has firmly denied the accusations, the documentary triggered a fresh wave of debate, not only because of the claims themselves, but also because numerous people chose to speak on camera for the first time after years of silence. One part of the documentary has captured more attention than the rest, where former insiders and witnesses describe situations involving young women who were allegedly manipulated, pressured, or placed in environments they should never have been part of. The film emphasizes that these are allegations rather than confirmed facts, and that investigations are still continuing, yet the testimonies were powerful enough to shock many viewers. The situation also intensified the long-standing tension between 50 Cent and Diddy, with Diddy arguing that the documentary was designed to damage his reputation, while Netflix states that all legal procedures were followed, and 50 Cent maintains that his purpose was simply to bring the truth into the open.
Speaking about Diddy like they did. Netflix and 50 Cent just pulled the curtain back on one of the most disgusting and powerful men in entertainment, Diddy. And what they reveal is darker than anything I think any of us imagined. Secret hotel room footage, a $200 million money move, new witnesses, and allegations that will change how you think of Diddy forever. This is The Reckoning on Netflix. We're talking about it today. Welcome, everybody. I'm Tom Zender. This is Tom Zender Scandal. You're watching 1 Degree of Scandalous. I'm the co-host along with the one and only Kato, K-Train, Kaylin. Kayla, I want to get into this right away. You and I both watched this thing, as did millions and millions and millions of people. I got to tell you, I couldn't wait for it to end. It made me sick. It disgusted me. You know, usually a Netflix doc is so captivating, and this was so well done. Kudos to 50 Cent. You are a hero in my mind, 50 Cent. You really are. We're going to get into this, but I couldn't wait for it to end. I just had a sick feeling about me that this guy, Diddy, got away with this crap for 35 years, and we're going to get into all of the new revelations today and talk about potential implications. But how did you feel watching this thing?
Well, I'll tell you what, Tom, I had no interest in Diddy at all. I had nothing. It was like another Diddy story. As soon as I watched the opening scene of him in the hotel room talking, I was captivated. I feel like it was 50 Cent was like on SEAL Team 6. He went in, he got the footage from this videographer, and it was so compelling. It is, like you said, it is so well done. And all 4 episodes, you're on the edge of your seat. I watched it in one sitting, which I rarely do. And well, I'm telling you, my opinion completely is different of Diddy. I thought, this guy's probably okay. I met him one time or maybe twice at the Playboy Mansion. I would not want to have any association with this person at all. The way that he used, which we're going to get into, how he used his friends. It's just like everything you're taught when you grow up of being a good person. He did the opposite.
Yeah. Everybody he touched, he destroyed. If you came into Diddy's periphery and his life, your life is over as you know it. You were facing violence, potential death, extortion, entrapment. This guy, and you know what? The doc did a good job of showing how he evolved, right? And his background, which doesn't excuse anything, but I learned a lot from this that we're going to get into. And I guess, Kato, before we get into like the top 10 things that we're going to reveal from this, and by the way, you don't have to be a hip hop or rap band. This is a crime. This is true crime at the core. And we're dealing with a true monster. All right. Ryan Murphy might have his next one right here. Monster Diddy. But Kato, do you think they have Netflix available in prison? Because I wonder if, what the reaction with his prison mates are going to be when they see this.
That's a great question. I think that any visitor coming in is probably telling him, if he hasn't seen it, and this is probably their last visit to see him, saying, you are a POS, a piece of. And like I said, it is this deals with, Tom, not only just extortion of money, never paying thing, possible.
The documentary premiered during the week of December 2nd, 2025, and quickly became one of the most talked about releases online. Titled Shan Combs' The Reckoning, the 4-episode series, each running close to an hour, was directed by Alex Stapleton and executive produced by Curtis Jackson. Soon after its release, discussions flooded social media and news platforms. Netflix defended the project, stating that every piece of footage had been legally cleared. However, Sean Combs and his legal team strongly disagreed, arguing that the series was unfair, biased, and included material used without proper permission. His lawyers even sent a formal letter to Netflix, accusing the documentary of presenting a misleading narrative. Rather than slowing the momentum, the controversy seemed to attract even more viewers. And the first episode begins with a powerful moment filmed just 6 days before Diddy's 2024 arrest, showing him inside a hotel room speaking with his lawyer and saying he is fighting for his life. Diddy's team claims this footage was taken without authorization, while the filmmakers insist it was legally obtained after the arrest. That opening scene alone triggered intense reactions, but the rest of the episode left an even deeper impression. Throughout the documentary, interviews with former staff members, security personnel, collaborators, And others who once had close access to Diddy's inner circle describe what they say was an environment shaped by power and privilege. Some interviewees allege situations in which young women were pressured into circumstances they did not fully understand, while others claimed they saw girls who appeared extremely young. One former worker stated that many of the women frequently entering Diddy's properties looked barely in their early 20s. The series repeatedly notes that these statements are allegations rather than proven facts, and Diddy has denied the accusations. Even so, hearing multiple similar accounts presented together created a narrative that surprised and unsettled many longtime fans. At the center of the documentary lies a lingering question that echoes throughout the episodes. How did so many people remain silent for so many years?
You have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right? I know
he did
you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy. I mean,
but I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated to a degree.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? Obviously, I know what's going on there, but is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freaky. All of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal. You go to the 90s and Keefe D said he paid him to kill Tupac.
Yeah.
So like with the craziest accusations, you had TMZ created a docuseries that went to Tubi, but the series is saying the downfall of Diddy.
You're one of the first persons in entertainment to really call out people and kind of have that authority in that, to be able to call people out. I mean, which is pretty amazing. You're kind of, in some ways, draining the swamp of Hollywood.
I don't have a support system. I don't have a support system of a peer group of artists that I require to do what I'm doing. I've had to be on my own from the beginning. So I don't necessarily have a responsibility to behave a certain way, according to them. And look, if I didn't have an award-winning director doing it, if I hadn't put the right people in place to produce it properly, I wouldn't understand why they would question or doubt anything.
Although the documentary was not created by him alone, Curtis Jackson became the figure most closely associated with the project and the one dominating much of the public discussion. For years, he had openly said he wanted to expose issues he believed the entertainment industry had avoided confronting. When Sean Combs reportedly declined the chance to produce a documentary under his own control, Netflix moved forward with a project involving 50 Cent's production team, willing to take their stories seriously. Once 50 Cent joined the production, they say the situation changed. There was suddenly financial backing, public attention, and perhaps most importantly, the confidence people needed to finally speak.
A new Netflix docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs is making headlines for its never-before-seen footage of the music mogul in the days before his arrest. Now, Combs is threatening legal action against the streamer for airing the unauthorized footage. Behind the series is Combs' longtime rap rival 50 Cent and director Alexandria Stapleton, who sat down with NBC News' Chloe Malas ahead of tonight's release.
Tonight, Netflix releasing never-before-seen video of Sean Diddy Combs filmed just days before his arrest on charges of trafficking and racketeering in 2024. The footage is part of a 4-part docuseries, Sean Combs: The Reckoning, premiering Tuesday. Behind the explosive documentary is Combs' longtime rival, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and director Alexandria Stapleton.
How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figured most journalists would not disclose their sources.
The recordings give viewers an intimate look at Combs' mindset ahead of his criminal trial, even conversations with his legal team.
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage is now seeing the light of day. Perhaps. What was he intending to use it for?
I have no idea.
I mean, you're talking about a man who films himself doing everything and has for decades. I think he wanted someone to be behind the scenes with him.
Combs' team firing back in a statement to NBC News today, saying the Netflix so-called documentary is a shameful hit piece and that they relied on stolen footage that was never authorized for release. His team sending a cease and desist to Netflix. Netflix referring NBC News to a statement from Stapleton in which she said they lawfully obtained the footage. After a nearly 8-week trial, Combs was acquitted of the more serious charges of trafficking and racketeering and sentenced to 50 months in federal prison for 2 counts of transportation to engage in. Combs' team going on to slam Netflix for partnering with 50 Cent, who they say has been his longtime public adversary, something the Grammy winner denied, citing his own casting choices in his popular Stars franchise, Power.
One could watch this and think that you really hate Sean Combs.
Why would they be thinking that?
Because of the things that you post on Instagram, because of the...
Look at this. And let's stop for a second and do say that I hated him enough to hire his kids. And we've never done anything to each other. So it's just competitive energy and things that you say about other artists while you're in hip-hop culture.
This documentary is one of several that has chronicled Combs' rise and fall, but Stapleton says theirs is different.
Yeah, there's a lot of new information. No one had ever really put it together like that before.
For 50 Cent, he says he feels a sense of obligation.
Well, if I didn't say anything, you could assume that all of hip-hop culture is comfortable with his actions.
And Chloe Malas joins us now in studio. Chloe, you've seen the whole documentary. What else can you tell us about it?
So there's a lot more of this never-before-seen footage, Tom, of Combs having really private conversations with his legal team, and you really get a sense of his mindset ahead of his criminal trial, which is really fascinating for me because he never did any sit-down interviews ahead of the trial. So you finally get to see what his strategy was and how worried he was. But clearly, perhaps he didn't think that he was going to go to prison because he's filming this documentary. You're also going to hear from Aubrey O'Day. She was in the girl band Danity Kane as part of making the band. She has an explosive allegation against Combs. And then there's quite a bit that focuses on the of Biggie and Tupac, and people from Combs' inner circle raising a lot of questions. People are going to also have a lot to say.
In the documentary, Curtis Jackson appears only briefly on screen, yet his influence permeates the entire series, as he helped secure crucial interviews, provided resources, and allowed the director to explore details never previously captured on camera. One of the most impactful sequences occurs in episode 3, where testimonies recount young women who were allegedly manipulated with promises of career opportunities, travel, or financial support. Their identities are protected, but the emotional intensity of their stories is clear. Some described being invited to events and realizing later they could not leave. Others felt pressured to comply because their careers were at stake, and a few recalled seeing other girls who seemed extremely young. These accounts raised a haunting question. Did they truly have a choice? For many viewers, this is where the documentary transitions from shocking to heartbreaking. Following its release, Sean Combs' legal team responded swiftly, labeling the series as unfair and one-sided, arguing it was intended to tarnish Diddy's reputation because of his long-standing feud with 50 Cent, and accusing Netflix of ignoring their warnings. Netflix countered that all footage was legally obtained and that no one was compensated to damage Diddy's reputation. While Netflix publicly defended the documentary, the most intense disputes and debates unfolded across social media and online platforms.
3 or 4 pictures in the documentary that I've seen of myself. Some people say they saw more, but I know three different times where I was certain places that you could actually see me in the documentary, and that's the only thing you're going to get. But the stories that they told in the documentary, bruh, come on. They could have went a whole lot deeper. They could have did a whole lot more. So I ain't in the documentary because that lady that was the director, I think, what's her name? Alex, Alex Steak, you know her name, Mighty? Yo, Mighty, just give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna look this up, all right? Okay. Her name is Alex Stapleton. The director that I spoke to was Alex Stapleton. She was the one who told me that she was the director, she was the producer, whatever, this, that, and the third, the whole 9 yards. And she was talking mad greasy to me. And listen here, it's no matter, after you talk that kind of talk to me, there's no amount of money she could have paid me anyway for me to get in there. You know, my story is more too valuable, you know, getting in depth with this whole stuff, and it would have helped that documentary a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? In actually, they used all the stuff that I told them and did it the way that I was saying do it. Tim Dog started off with the childhood with Puff and the whole 9 yards. Kirk Burrows do the business part, but they was trying to put people in there like Mark Curry and other people to talk about the streets or what was going on, you know, a certain thing. But Mark can only say so much, you know what I'm saying, because he was an artist, you know, so he wasn't with Puff like I was with him during that time when we was running back and forth here and there and the whole 9 yards. So, you know, Miss Alex Stapleton is the one reason why I'm not in the documentary, but it's all right with me. I've been in a lot of documentaries. I did The Shine, I did the A&E, I did the Discovery Channel, I did the Fox. You know, I've been in a whole lot of different documentaries, and I'm always on the Art of Dialogue. So the people been getting most of the information from here anyway.
Yeah, man, you always on here, man. Always got to bring you on. So with that being said, man, I want to get right into the documentary, man. How you feel about the documentary, man? The behind the scenes footage they got of Diddy leading up to him getting arrested, and how you feel about all that, man?
Well, what I feel about the documentary, they left a whole lot of key things out. If they was going to do something and they're going to say in the reckoning of Sean Combs, the reckoning, or Diddy, the reckoning and stuff like that, it should have been a lot of people that we lost because of him. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't only Big, it wasn't only Tupac, you understand? For the atmosphere that he put those kids in, you got a guy named Anthony Wolf Jones, who was from Bad Boy, from its conception as doing security and being one of the financiers of Puff having to have some money to keep Big and Craig Mack around before he got to Clyde.
After the documentary's release, Curtis Jackson shared clips, jokes and comments suggesting that long-hidden truths were finally coming to light, prompting backlash from Sean Combs' supporters, who accused him of exploiting the moment, while Diddy's legal team insisted the film spread false and misleading information. This escalated into one of the most intense celebrity media clashes of the decade, shifting the focus from allegations to battles over control, image, and narrative, with one side claiming that truths had been suppressed for years, and the other insisting the story was being deliberately distorted. Central to public discussion, however, remained the accounts of young women featured in the documentary. Their identities are legally protected, but multiple testimonies suggest that some were underage or extremely young during their alleged experiences. The film carefully highlights these claims, with one former employee noting that many girls visiting Diddy's properties appeared far too young and uncomfortable around older men. Online reactions amplified the debate, with posts describing patterns of behavior involving women connected to men in his circle, and questioning whether relationships were driven by ego, power, and control rather than genuine attraction, even referencing high-profile connections like Beyoncé and Jay-Z. While all these statements remain allegations, the consistent and numerous accounts ensured that the conversation surrounding the documentary remained intense and inescapable.
As a party favor. What does that mean? It's a party favor. I was somebody you could take off the table. So you're telling me they set children? I set children on a table. Like when you go to a birthday party and they have gift bags for everybody that comes that have candy and toys in them, yep. And they set them on the table. So you're telling me at the freak off parties, mm-hmm. They put children on the table instead of gift bags, mm-hmm. And then people can do what? Take you off the table and have to, even though it's against the rules to do certain things like their full health. Sometimes that's against the rules. Like for me, that was against the rules, but that didn't matter. That did not matter. So they come choose you off the table, do whatever they want with you, and then what happens? And they put you back on the table. They put you back on the table for somebody else to come choose you? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's called a party favor effect. That's just one of the little things that go on at the freak-off parties with children. Were there animals there? Mm-hmm. Goats. Did they turn the animals loose on the kids? Yeah. And if you got sick and threw up because it was so disgusting, what happened? You had to eat it. You had to eat your vomit if you threw up. That's satanic ritual. Diddy was at this party? Mm-hmm. Denzel Washington was at this party? Yep. Birdman was at this party? Yes, he was. And Young Jock? Yep. And you're telling me Denzel was there and it was after 1 o'clock when he supposedly left? And beanie, socks, and a gold chain. So you're telling me Denzel Washington was... He had a beanie on, socks on, and a gold chain, and that's it. In front of children. Yep. Funny. Because he sure portrays himself to be holier than thou. Yep. So a lot of them do. I think you also told me that one of those men have a birthmark. Left thigh. So one of those men have a birthmark on their left thigh. Did you have interactions with Diddy? Denzel? And I know we don't tell on Denzel. You might not tell on Denzel, but your mama gonna tell on everybody. I ain't keeping no secret. Denzel? Yep. Birdman? Did Birdman promise you things? So much. Like what he promised Lil Wayne at a young age. Because you know we shared the system together. Share a birthday together too. I know a lot of you have seen P. Diddy get guardianship.
One anonymous woman recounted an experience from her teenage years, describing pressure to stay at an event that turned out to be nothing like what she had been promised, while another witness remembered seeing girls in outfits that made them appear even younger, creating an unsettling and unsafe atmosphere. A singer, interviewed in a different documentary years earlier, shared what she believed she observed at a party. And after The Reckoning was released, her testimony resurfaced, intensifying public debate. The documentary also references past lawsuits, including cases involving women who claimed to be under 18 during certain incidents, some of which were later withdrawn, others remain ongoing, and many allegations remain unproven. Taken together, these accounts reveal a recurring theme. Numerous women described feeling they had no choice, no voice, and no protection, leaving a lasting, haunting impression on viewers long after the series concludes.
By this point, Diddy and 50 Cent have had a long-standing beef, and 50 Cent was trolling Diddy throughout the entire trial. Those AI memes on his Instagram were crazy work, but this doc also has something else. It has never before seen footage of Diddy right up to the point he was arrested, and we also hear from two of the jurors. In July, just a reminder, Diddy was convicted on 2 charges of transportation to engage in but found not guilty of the more serious charges, that's racketeering with conspiracy and trafficking. He is now serving a 50-month prison sentence and has said he will appeal. In a cease and desist letter sent on Monday, lawyers for Mr. Combs demanded that Netflix withdraw the series, contending the footage had been illicitly provided to the streaming service in violation of contractual agreements. The letter asserted that running the footage would be a copyright violation and that it likely contained privileged communications between Mr. Combs and his legal counsel. Netflix say the footage was legally obtained. Just a warning, this episode contains strong language and content some listeners might find upsetting. If you have been a victim of or you want some support, details of help and support are available at bbc.co.uk/action line. Today, I'm very happy to say that we have Cheyenne Roundtree, Rolling Stone's senior investigative reporter, joining us once again. Welcome back, Cheyenne.
Hi, good to see you.
It's lovely to have you back. We've had the end of a trial. You got married. There's been a lot going on, but here we are. Something that 50 Cent promised, he's delivered upon. It is a long documentary, 4 hours, 4 parts. The wildest thing to me is the footage of Diddy just days before his arrest, talking to his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo. Listeners will know Mark Agnifilo was lead counsel, and he led the closing arguments, which finished 2 rounds of applause at the trial. In the footage, Diddy's making plans, calling people involved in the case, cases against him, civil cases and the federal case. It really is extremely intimate. Cheyenne, tell us some of the stuff that we see.
Where to begin? I think what you kind of take away from this is just like how Diddy's mind works a little bit. You see him strategizing with his attorneys about social media reach and thinking already ahead of before he's even arrested how to reach potential jurors. And he's telling his team, like, don't just be going.
Sean Combs continues to deny all allegations, with his legal team asserting that every encounter was consensual and insisting he has never harmed anyone, while arguing that the documentary is unfair and misleading. Netflix stands by its series, stating that all footage was legally cleared, and Curtis Jackson maintains that the truth is finally being revealed. Yet the most pressing questions focus not on celebrities or rivalries, but on the young women who said they felt cornered, misled, or manipulated, raising concerns about the environment they were drawn into. With the documentary now public and testimonies available, one lingering question remains. What will happen when the next wave of witnesses comes forward to share their stories?